Okay, so this should be fine for us because I had all this added to the documentation. So this is what. Can you see my screen? Can someone confirm me?
So it's one.
In the last session, right, we did discuss about load balancing and auto scaling, and definitely we had clearly implemented the scenarios and then we tested them successfully. So it should be very clear for all of you. And even the session is already out there. You can watch it anytime. So coming back to this versioning, this is also very important topic. And you might people ask questions on this as well as interviews, and I brought three different ways of creating versioning. Okay, one is directly creating versioning in the AWS console itself, and the second one creating versioning through AWS management through CLI. Okay, the second strategy is enable versioning using AWS CLI, and the third strategy, what is the third strategy, friends? uh, Doing automation with Python and Boto3. So this third strategy is something which is very helpful for you. And if you can add this in your resumes that I did this automation using Python, this kind of thing, definitely you have a better advantage in the interviews. You got it right. Because I am in the panel, I know that how I see when someone says I did automation, how somebody says I just did something, right? So what is there and I did some maintenance. So definitely, when you say that you did something automation, definitely interviewer will be more interested in your resume. So that is the idea. So getting to the point, okay, let's just go to it. Creating versioning. See, what we did is we intelligently learned many things, okay, as subtopics. So that's why we are very much familiar with S3 storage. Okay, because we know we did created it buckets and we did uploaded files and we did tested many things there. But we didn't consciously discuss versioning. You got it right. We didn't consciously focused on versioning, even though we did versioning. Okay, that's why this session is dedicated for this versioning and then also how to automate AWS and how to play around all that. This will be in the upcoming sessions. We have a lot of automations. I'll just show you how to play around that because that is important now. Okay, let's get to the topic. Now, this is versioning. What is versioning? Simply, if someone asks you a question, and this is everywhere, not just only in S3 buckets. Versioning is everywhere. Even I work in day-to-day Python development. Right? Automations. We have something called dev environment. Okay. So there, what do? Is we have our own IDE where whenever I create a Python file, it just starts with version 1.0. And then when I just add any changes, it becomes 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Commit every time I commit, it gives me a version. You got it right. Same file, but the version keep changing. Suppose I want previous version, I can just go back to that particular version and open that code. You got it right. Means and always what we see is the latest version. I got it right. Let me quickly explain versioning a bit with Paint so you understand more of versioning. Okay, so you can play around more of versioning. And also I'm explaining how it works for me so that it's easy for you to understand from a real working environment. Okay, so now let me just show you. So this is your ID. You open some ID, whatever it is, right? And then what do you do? You create a file generally. Always that is the first thing we do. Something. Suppose some abc.py if I create. So what happens is it has some version, something like 1.0 something, and then of course my name also will be there with something like creator something name colon something blah 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 blah. Okay, Manoram or whatever it is. So that's how it is, and then under that by default this comes there. Under that, what I do is I'm going to write my script something like, saying, okay, some A equal to, this is just a simple sample, okay, 10, 20. Now, when I save it, what happens? So this is saved as a, simply speaking, 1.0. When I commit it, generally the word I should use here is a commit, right? When I commit, it becomes version 1.0. Instead of 0, we can say O also is technically valid in conversation, technical conversations. Okay. Now all of a sudden, what I did is I just added another variable or something. Okay. Assume that I just changed the code. Then what happens? So again, I commit back, right? So I commit this file. But here, next time when I open this file, here it won't be 1.0. Second time, if I open the same file, it's not 1.0. It shows me 1.1. Yeah, because I am opening with for second version, it opens 1.1. Okay, and then what it does when I commit it, that is updated. So now, if you see here, I'm going to just do this commit. And then when you commit, it doesn't go with 1.0, but it goes with the next version available. That is, what is next version? Next version is 1.1. You can see that there. Similarly, how many times you commit? I mean, you make changes and do commit, then that version keeps growing. You got it right. Of course, whenever you are opening it again, it just brings the latest version into the IDE. Okay, now if I open this file again, what is that version it is going to give me? It opens 1.1. Suppose I made some changes on 1.1, then what is that? And then I did commit. What did I do? I did commit again. Then what is the version I get here? I get here a version of, again, another version, what we say 1.2, right? Same thing is applicable. So this sequence, these steps keep repeating again and again. This happening again and again. Okay. You again open now. If you open again this file, what is the latest version you get? You get a Python script of version 1.2. Suppose you made some changes and again you commit, you again it creates a new version for this. Suppose if you make changes on version 1.2, right? And you did commit. Again, it creates a new version for that. And the author name would be there even. And you can view all that there. Who committed, who made changes, everything will be there. So that if anything goes wrong, that particular person is responsible for his changes. Got it, right? That's how versioning is very crucial and very important scenario in real time. Okay. Important project management mechanism in real time. Suppose now what happens here? When I just make changes on 1.2, it becomes 1.3. Okay. That is the process in an IDE. This happens with IDE. Suppose how do we do that with which one in AWS Console? Let us see that. Okay. Let's just come sign in. Okay. So you can see here, what is versioning here by now? S3 versioning means every time you upload or modify an object in sense a file. Amazon S3 keeps the older versions. It doesn't overwrite or delete immediately. Okay, so that's what versioning is. Every time you try to update same file with some new changes, a new version is created. And the benefits here, protect against accidental deletes or overwrites. Lets you restore previous versions. Works well for audit or backup use cases. So these are the advantages with versioning. Okay, right. Next one. Even same thing. Suppose I want some previous implemented code. I go to the previous versions and just open it. And suppose if that version should keep working right now, then I'll change my code to that version and commit it back to the previous version. I mean, previous version in sense, I take the same code from that version and I commit it on top of new version, existing version. So that's how I am just sharing you pure real time this thing happening. Okay, what happens in my day to day work? That's what I'm sharing you. Okay, so that it's easy for you to understand in case if you are not experienced in that. So enabling versioning is all this is very simple. So I'll just show you that. So you have to go to management console. You know how to create buckets by now. Anyhow, I'll show you again and just go the provide bucket name and there is a versioning property. Just enable that. We had this discussion some time back as well. I mentioned this very clearly. Just choose that enable versioning. That's always good. It's up to you. But in real time, enabling versioning is very important. Okay, for learning, it's okay. If you don't enable, nothing harm comes here. No harm comes here. But if it is real time, it is very important. You got it right, friends? So that is the quick info of enabling versioning and the advantage with versioning. So next after that, so what do I do? First, I'll just show you how to do that in Amazon console. Okay, let's enter into that and then next and then password. And then the final step in this, what is that, friends? Last step, let me just go to the this one code. Okay, this is how it is. So now what you have to do, go to S3. This is very simple and very easiest process. Very easy process. Okay, don't think that we are doing something difficult or something complex. We are just doing very simple job. Okay, all of you are fine, right? Are you following, friends?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. If you have any questions, you know, right? You know the protocol. You can ask me anytime. I'm there. So now choose the region whichever you want. It's up to you. In which region you want to create your buckets. Okay. And we had a discussion on this because some of you asked questions on this. We explored and then we came to know about many new things there. Okay, there are very good observations in that discussion. You know how it works with the regions and all that. Okay. Now create bucket. We are creating in Mumbai. Just see that. Okay. When you expand this, you can see what is the region and what is the availability zone here. Right side are availability zones and the left side is region. Mumbai has AP South one. In some time, when you start working, all this should become hands-on. You don't need to go and check. AP hyphen South hyphen one, US hyphen East hyphen one. This should be there in the mind. That's how it should be. Okay. Of course, it comes with practice. You don't need to worry much. Just give a bucket name here. So I just give it as the norm tech. If it is already there, we'll try to create something else because I just create multiple buckets. Okay. Versioning bucket. So it seems like it is there. Next after that, then you can see there all this you can keep as is. You don't need to change anything here. Let's have it. Okay. And then this one thing you have to be very careful. So careful in sense, this is something important. Here you can see bucket versioning, it is disabled. You just enable it. That's all. Then you are ready for playing around with versioning. Okay. Now after that, what do you do? I don't think you have anything else to do. So that's this simple it is. Okay, just go and create a bucket. So I hope you got it right. How to create bucket and enable versioning. You can see that. Just what is that? Create bucket. Okay. Bucket has invalid characters. No problem. That's fine. Just put hyphen instead of underscore because in our day-to-day work, generally I use a lot of underscores for variables and file names and all that. So old dice don't die. I mean, old habits don't die quickly, right? Create bucket. Yes, bucket is created. You can see that there are many buckets. Just keep cleaning. Don't keep all that there just to avoid any unnecessary billing. Okay. So NomTech versioning bucket is something which I created. Click on it. Okay. And then upload. I'm just directly uploading buckets just to test on versioning directly in the console itself. Okay. This is one strategy or one approach. And same thing in real time, more than this, I believe developers will use automations or otherwise CLI. Okay, I'll just show you that as well. So that's why this session is important, not just only to do versioning. You are also going to watch about automations. Okay. So next after this, you don't need to do anything. Just say add files. And somewhere, you have so many things here, right? We just put some our standard folder. I'll go to the, where is our DevOps thing? Okay. Check. I think we are in wrong folder or what? Okay, DevOps AWS. Okay. And then I just choose this sample report. Okay. And then upload. When you upload, now go and check in and you can see that this is the path with which we can check that. Okay. What is there in that bucket? It's okay. Fine. We'll do all that. We already did so many checks. Okay. So now what do you do? Just go back and you can say close this and you can see this is here. Suppose you just have only one version this time, you can see that this is the file and if you want you can open it. Okay. And you can see all this metadata of that particular file. Okay. And permissions and versions. If you want to see, this is how you can directly click on versions here. Okay. And then that's how you can just check for versions. This is the version ID that is automatically created by your AWS. You don't need to create any versions, friends. This should be an automated process. Okay, go back. So right now we just have one version. You can see it is the text type and it is last modified thing and then size of it. Okay, all that. And then if you want, you can enable if you have multiple files, right? With same file uploaded multiple times. For the same file, multiple versions are created as we discussed in this paint diagram, right? But the first time it will be 1.0. If you update that 1.0, it becomes 1.1. If you update 1.1, it becomes 1.2. And of course, we should commit. Without committing version, don't change. Keep that in mind. If you learn more about this when you go to the AWS in Git and GitHub, you understand more about that scenarios. Okay, not AWS, sorry, DevOps. I misread it. Okay. So that is this. Now what you do? Do one thing. You got it right. This is how. This is important, friends. Because tomorrow when you do automations, you need to project all versions and then you want to get latest one. How do you get it? So you should have a clear knowledge about these versions. And you can see this is in a table format. You can see here. And these many values are there. You have name, type for this file. This is the metadata associated. You have name of file, type of file, version ID, last modified size, and storage class. Suppose in an automation, right, I want to read all the versions and then I want to get the latest version. So how do you do that? For that, more than implementing automation, having that clear idea of the requirement is important, friends. That is what I learned over the years of experience. Writing code is not difficult, no matter what, how big or how small it is. Understanding requirement, understanding the technicalities is important. Okay. Now upload it again. What do we do? I am uploading the same file again. Just add files. Maybe if you want, you can change a bit. That's up to you. Suppose what you can do, you can just edit a bit. Just say that you can add something else for second time. Just change here. Okay. Adding some line one just for testing purpose. Okay. And then you can close it and then say save. You are good. Now I made some changes to this file and I am uploading it back again. So you can just choose this and uploading same file. I didn't make any changes to the file name, right? And finally, what I say, upload. Now, how many times I uploaded this file? I uploaded it for 2 times. Then 2 versions will be created for the same file. You can close here. This window you can close. Now you can see here when I come here, it just shows AW just shows only one copy. Then you ask me, Manoram, you uploaded 2 times, right? Where are those 2 copies? Then you just see here, click, you can see this option, show versions. And now you can see both files. Yes or no? Can you see 2 versions of same file? And you can see there is a separate version ID for each file. You got it? And based on that version, you can choose which one you want to read from this bucket. But by default, the latest version will be always available. You got it right. How to get latest version again? How do you know some version is latest here? It is not like what I showed here. For us, definitely this practice we have. It starts with 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, like that. The versioning keep growing. For every commit that version increments. This is how our versioning is in our environment, Python environment. But here it is not like that. Then I have a question to you. How do you know which is the latest version? Can someone answer? There is an answer directly.
Last modified. Last
Correct.
modified copy.
Correct. With the timestamp, the exact simple word is what is that you can use? We can choose timestamp. You got it right. And based on timestamp, you can filter which is the latest one. All this knowledge is important. Okay. See what is important in real time is it's not about just creating buckets and just uploading files, all that. Suppose you should do some automation. You should create some dashboard. What do you need? This generally very few people discuss right outside. You need to have knowledge of these things. Then when somebody asks you to create an automation, then you can easily build an automation. You understand that? So now finally that is the idea. Once you know all that, then writing code is simple. Many people don't understand. That is not difficult at all. Okay. This is the final this thing, friends. Now, if you want, you can add one more version is created. Likewise, if you you make some changes to your file, again you try to commit it or upload it, automatically a new version is created. If it is development, what do we do in development? Sorry, friends. Right? If it is development, right, you can see this. I created a file, but this doesn't have version. But if I want versioning enabled for this, then I can commit this to a GitHub, and then I can also show you that versions. I'll show you that as next item, okay? Because I need to just again recheck the integration to GitHub one more time. And once every time we make changes and push to GitHub, I'll show you all that. So all these experiences gives you lot of what is that exposure, awareness with what's happening with the work environment. Instead of GitHub, we use something called Bitbucket. You got it right. But the concept, all the details are same. It doesn't change if it is okay in my personal laptop or in real time in the work environment. Understood now? Even I'll show you that. I'll just keep you aware of everything. So that when you go to an interview, you don't feel that you are just trained on AW, but you have to have that confidence that yes, I know all the working scenarios. That is kind of confidence you need, friends. Got it right? So this is what versioning is. Okay, how to create buckets. Now we learned from console. What do we learn? How to create buckets and how to upload files and how to check for versions and how the version IDs look and how to find the timestamp. Right? These are different scenarios. Okay. Actually, I am actually thinking to go deep into this. I want to build a dashboard and come up with all this. I'll just try to bring as much as possible. That experience is going to help you a lot. Okay. Now, after this, the next scenario. We're done with console operation. Sir, right? Yeah, console. Now let's jump to the CLI. Connect to the AWS CLI. Right. All of you know we had discussed how to install or configure AWS CLI. Let me just show you this. Okay. So now, so this is for Boto3 installation. I'll come back to this. This is the third approach. Now we are moving to the next approach. After the first approach, we discussed with AWS Console. Right? So what is that I'm going to do? I'm going to clear my screen. I have already configured AWS into my this command prompt. If you want, I can show you again and again. It's not a problem. But most of you know that it's already there in our out there in the YouTube channel. I don't mean I am not saying that you should go there, but if you need it, we have already information there. Okay, now what is that I want? So first to see whether I have configured that AWS CLI, just use this command AWS configure list so that we know about that configuration. Yeah, this is configured. You can see here and it's showing region EU01, which is nothing but Europe. If you want to change it, you can change it. We had discussed that. Yes or no, friends? Right. I think Revati asked me like, how to change it. Or Sham or someone asked me. And we did this, we did work on that and we came to know if you want, we can overwrite that. It's up to us. That's fine. Even in today's program, I'll show you that how to overwrite your regions through automation. Fine. Now this is in place. AWS CLI Connect is in place. So I don't have a problem now. Now I can go with the steps of what is that? Creating buckets and working on versions with buckets. Now you can see this is the simple first step for creating a bucket. Okay, what is that? Let me take this. Okay, come here. I'll do one thing. Let me put this command here so that it's easy for you to use. So this is the command, or else I'll do one thing. Instead of this, let me take a fresh notepad so you don't have a. Now you can see it. And then just increase the font here a bit. So you need for this view and then zoom. What is that? I control num plus. Okay. Can you see the command here? You can see that. So this is the AWS command to create bucket in CLI prompt. Okay. Command line interface. Now you have to use this S3 API. So that is the keyword we should use along with AWS standard keyword. Okay. Then say create bucket and then bucket, that is bucket name. When you say hyphen bucket and then what else you can provide region here. That's up to you. If you want to create that bucket in this region. Okay. And then create bucket configuration and then that location constraint. That constraint is AP South 1. This is how you can create a bucket. Okay, what are the options we are creating here? Simply, we are just choosing one is create bucket. These are the options. Bucket name, and then what is that? Region, and then what is that? Every hyphen is one parameter as a part of that command. Okay, and finally, so these are three different parameters needed to create a bucket. One is that bucket information, region, and then configuration. You don't need to do anything. You just need to copy this. I'll just ping you if you want, or else I need to upload this. Every day I'm thinking I forget to add it, attach it to the group. I'll do that today for sure. For now, what you can do, if you want, you can run. I'm just sharing in the chart. Okay. You can test it if your AWS account is ready to work on these commands. Now, what I do, come here, come to the command prompt. Where is this buddy? Okay. But this is already there, which is there. Nomtech version bucket 001 is there. So what I do is I just change this friends. Okay. Instead of 001, I change it to 002. Now you can see bucket is created. Do you have any doubt in this? It is saying location, it's created. So if you have any doubt, what do you do? Go to the AWS and check under buckets. And you should see something like 002. And you should see, yeah, now you can see that this is the version bucket I created. Can you see that there? This one. Okay, maybe I can click on it as well. So this is the one we created just few seconds back. And that is just an empty bucket. Now, what do we want to do? Let's move to the next step. So these are all very simple, but very important. People ask these commands in interviews as well, friends. Enabling versioning. If it is console, we just choose that option, enable console. But here, this is the command. You can see here, AWS S3 API is okay, fine. Put bucket, versioning. Okay. So then this is the one that is going to, okay, sorry. Let me just again take this from here so that it's easy for explaining in the notepad. Now you can see this. Where is that we are enabling? You can see status enabled. When you say status enabled, the versioning of bucket would be enabled. You can see put bucket versioning. That is the command we have to use or a parameter we should use. And then remaining all you can see as usual the bucket name. And then suppose instead of 001, I should put 002. That is what I created. And the versioning configuration. What is that I should do? I should say status enabled. If you say disabled, that versioning will be disabled. It's up to you. And the region, where did we create that bucket? We created in AP South one, then it will be there. You got it right? So that's all. This is how you enable versioning, friends. Okay. So let me just run this now and just change the bucket name. That's all. Because that is the one latest bucket we created. Copy this, come here, and then just enter. Okay. Versioning is enabled on this bucket. We are good. Next, after that, the next step. So step 2, step 1, creating bucket. Step 2, enable versioning. And step 3, verify versioning. How do you verify versioning? Simple. Again, this is the command we should use. I think I didn't ping this second step. You can try this. Today, I think we will, I need to go out, friends. So after this, today we'll stick for this versioning, all that, whatever is needed. How much our time it takes, we'll spend up to that, and then we'll connect back tomorrow. So now this is step 2. So what do we do right now? That's fine. Next after that, where is this? Step 3. What is step 3, friends? Verify versioning. It's simple, right? You don't need to do anything. The command or the parameter you should use here is just use this command, get versioning. Okay. So now you just use this command to enable versioning. Come here. Of course, I am checking for which one? For 001, but I should check for which one? For 002. It's already there. I created all of that. That's fine. But this is the latest bucket we created. And we see that it's enabled and we are good with that. We don't have any issues. Now, what is that we should do now? Now we should go and test for versioning. How do you test it? Upload some file, same file for multiple times and see that how many versions are created. Okay. The easiest way is you can use this. I'm just showing you here. Let me just copy the third comment. Do one thing. Just make a small change to this. And you can test this too. I'm just sharing this with you, of course. Let's see this. Test it, friends. Next after that. So we did verify versioning. The next step is let's upload some file and see versions. How these versions are generated. Of course, the concept of versioning is same. But how to do that from CLI, command line interface. Okay, let's copy this. Okay, first put me in the notepad so that I can make some changes here. And here bucket name is this one. You can see here. And then here version of one of the file, something like, you can just put some bucket 002 or something. Here, what is that we are doing is we are doing two things in one shot. Actually, if you have already a file existing in your local machine, you can use this command. What is that? You can use AWS S3 copy command and then just pass full path. What is that you should do? You have to pass full path. So that is one approach. The second approach is you can create a file then and there itself, and then you can just upload it. Okay, this is instant creation of a test file. It's up to you how you want to follow. If you ask me, you can choose any of one of these two approaches. It's up to you. I'm just giving you a short approach and a quick approach. What is that? How do you create a file instantly and then upload it? It's easy for testing. Suppose if you want, if it is a real environment, you are doing something real upload, then you choose from your local environment or your work laptop. Okay. So now copy this. Just come here to command prompt and just enter. And it's uploaded. You can see that. Again, you can run it. I'm just because we don't need to make much changes, same text file. But here I'm just saying it as version 2 of bucket 002. So I just made small change on top of the the first version we created. Okay. So now again enter. Again it uploads updated file. Now we have two versions created. One which we uploaded in the first time. Two which we modified and uploaded. Now what do? You can go to this one and refresh it. This time you can see a file inside this bucket, right? But by default it shows only that one copy. Suppose if you want to see the versions, then you can ask to show versions. Right? That is one strategy. Or else what you can do, if you don't want from here, you can just click on this file and then you can go and check on versions. You can see the versions information here. So it's up to you how you want to view the versions. Okay, we have two different versions. You can see here. This is how we create versions, right? This is how versions are created. We don't create, AWS do that, but this is how versions are created. And this is the versioning thing. What is the advantage of versioning? Suppose here it's okay, it's just a file. Suppose you created a program and I want to go back and modify the previous version for some reason, or I want that previous version code again. So that is there as a backup in that versions. So always that previous created code versions will be available to us and we can reuse them whenever needed. So that makes our job easier. Okay. So next up.
One small question here.
Yes, please.
Sorry. So if we are using a previous version of code, then it's going to be a new version again, or how it will save? I mean,
again, when you commit it back again with old version, let me just show you that in the paint, okay? Because It is simple, straight to your answer. We again create it as a new version. You got it right? Even though we
Yeah, yeah.
bring back that and then commit it, again it creates as a new version. Is it Venkatesh or who is it?
Ravindra. Yeah, I got
Ravindra.
it.
Understood?
Yeah, yeah, understood. Yeah, sensible.
Okay, then. Again, we have to create it as a new version because suppose I go back to that version, I copy that code and come back and add it to the current version. And then maybe if you want, you can completely replace the current version code and then you can commit it. You got it? And then a new version is
Yes, sir.
created. A new version is created for that. Because I generally do this to and fro this thing because my LOB asks me sometimes I need that kind of format in reporting. I need the old format because I keep on changing report format and I keep on upgrading my reports. Sometimes they like old formats, sometimes they like new formats. You got it, Ravindra.
Yeah,
So that's why
yeah.
we do this process to and fro. Understood? Yeah. Next after that. So I hope I answered your question before I move further.
Yes,
So
it's clear.
all of you got observed this, right? So when we upload from CLI, you can see there your two versions created for the same file test.txt. Okay. So this is how versioning works. Next, after that, hope we are clear with step 4, uploading a file into the AWS. Did I share this step with you? Let me share. Anyhow, I'll share this document. You can just make small changes wherever needed, and you can work with it. Not an issue. And still, if you have any doubt or if you feel you are stuck somewhere, so I am always there. Okay, so you can ping me.
I got a small question. Why we are giving test.txt that name two times in this comment? I couldn't get that point.
So which one? So there are two questions. One is why we are giving test.txt for two times. Second thing, somebody is
It,
asking, Venkatesh is asking a question. Venkatesh, to your answer, is it possible to customize the version ID? Yes, Venkatesh. It's
Okay.
possible to customize version ID. Probably I can show you that tomorrow. Okay, because today I'm not sure how much time I have,
Okay.
but I'll show you that in tomorrow's session. That is the first thing in our session. Yes, we can customize it because given the kind of length here, you can see here. Let me just show you where is that. So it's too lengthy. These version IDs are too big. Okay, just if you want to make it simple, we can provide a kind of customized versioning to this. Okay, so we can do that, Venkatesh, for sure. I'll show you that with an automation. Okay, and coming to the Revati's question. Revati, your question is, what is your question? Why? What is your question? Why we have this is just text file
no,
we uploaded and we can see only one file here. What is your question now?
yeah, the output is I'm okay with that. I mean, whatever we get it, I get it. This comment is for copy the test file to that particular S3 bucket, and we have done it, and we could able to see the version. Everything is fine, but in
Okay.
that comment itself, I could able to see the test.txt that file name couple of times. So I couldn't get the point
You mean
why
this
we are
one?
using. No, in the comment, in the CLI comment. I
Okay.
mean, from
Let me just okay, let's go there so that we understand. Where is that? Here, this one? You are
sorry, I
asking
mute.
about this?
Yeah, I'm muted. Yeah. After the echo, you come
Uh,
here. Test.
okay, that's about just uploading output. Suppose once you just enter the run that command, this is how that output is drafted or it is created in the background code. You got it right?
Uh,
So
no,
what is it here?
after the
Yeah,
no, not after the echo, after the
this
process,
one,
you can
right?
see no, when you come out, I mean the test first test.txt and AWS S3 CP.
Oh, this
Then
one.
we have
Okay, I got it. I got it.
yeah.
I just explained that. Yeah, let me explain this to you again. See, I told you right just now. So this has two things in one. two tasks we are doing in one command. You got it, Revati? The first task is you are instantly creating a file, this one. You can see this text.txt and writing some text to that, to this file. Okay. And you are creating a temporary file here or an instant file. And second step is uploading to the S3 bucket. We are doing two tasks in one command by concatenating both tasks. This and is a concatenation. You got it,
Okay.
Revati?
Yeah, got it, got it. It's a new
Suppose
file.
you can do one thing. Suppose you can do one thing. See, echo is nothing but it's a simple Linux command. The purpose of that is to show display output, or you can create files. You can use it for different tasks. Okay. So now what we are doing is just see like this. Maybe let's break down this command. This is the first step. I created a file here. You can see. So echo version 1, this greater than means you are creating a file and writing this text into that file. That is the meaning of that, Revati. Do you understand?
Yeah, I got it. It's clear now. So
And
in case if
then now you are copying the same file to this bucket 002. Okay, that's what you are doing. So that you are not doing in two steps. We are just doing it by concatenating both steps in one shot. Is that clear?
Yeah, got it, got it. And one more thing, while
Okay.
creating one more thing,
Yes,
creating the
please.
text file, we haven't mentioned the location, right?
Because
I
this is
mean,
created in the current location, Revati. If you are not mentioning location means you can just keep that in mind. It creates that in the current location and it try to upload it to the bucket. Maybe you can
uh,
go and check what is the current location. See users admin. Maybe we can check it there. Okay. So what we can do, go to the C drive users admin. Okay, and date modified. You can see here test file created. Understood, Revati?
yeah, got it, got it. Thank you so
You can see
much.
this is created on 1810. Can you see there?
Yeah, yeah, it's created.
That
Yeah.
means you are creating in the current directory.
Okay. So if we have an existing file,
Mhm.
we have to copy that file into the S3
Yes, if you
bucket.
want, let me just show you. See, because you are asking that question, let me just show you how to do that as well, so that all your doubts will be clarified, right? Go there. Just you can choose anything from this local machine. It's not like you should only copy from this particular path. Okay, I just choose that. That's all. Okay. So now you can see sample report. Copy this. Come here. Okay, and then you remove all this. This time I'll just upload the same file for twice. Okay, remove the whole part. Of course, shall we clear the screen? That's the best part, right? Okay. So now what you can do, just to upload a file from your local machine from some location, what is that you should do? Remove this. Okay. And then just say enter that and just upload it. This bucket don't have this file as of now. This is the first version we are trying to upload into this bucket. Okay. Enter.
Yeah, yeah, got it now. Yeah, it's clear now. Thank you so
Fine. Next,
much.
after that, suppose you make some change to this file in future. Okay. Then what is that? Commit that change locally and then come here and then upload that modified file. Just you don't need to do anything, enter, because it will automatically pick the changes. Okay. Now you can see that. Now you can go to the AWS console and check on. Okay, sorry, I think I should have refreshed there itself. Okay, you can see that two files are uploaded here. And click
Yeah,
on this sample.txt and look for versions. You have two versions created. Understood now?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
this is
got
the
it.
idea.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's clear now.
Superb. Any more questions from anyone, friends, before I jump to the. So this is about what is that uploading files from CLI. One more version I uploaded. That's already done. We tested it and we have verified that. Verified versions in AWS itself. How that versions are created for each file. Now finally, one more command we can just test in the console. What is that? Is a listing object versions. How do you list it? Copy this. Okay. There is a method or there is a command which is used for listing object versions. What is that? List object versions. There most of these commands are very straightforward. Even somebody asks in interviews, you can just create it dynamically then and there itself in the mind and answer. To list objects, list object versions. Okay. Similarly, for uploading, you can see here it is just using a copy command. Okay, that's fine. Okay, similarly. So now what do you do? Just copy this, come here, come to the command prompt, use this. This just prints versions for bucket 001. So we created bucket 002. Then what is that? You can see all that objects versions inside that. I think we have 2 files and 4 versions, right? Okay, you can see here. So these are all, now you can see, right? When we just say that this S3 API, it is a command which gets all that detail, I mean, objects or buckets information from AWS. Okay, and then list object versions is the command which lists objects along with their versions. Here objects are files. Okay, and bucket, you should provide bucket from which bucket you want to get all that, and then region, all this. Okay, so that's the overall information. Understood, friends? Next, after this. So finally, we did understand this versioning, right? We successfully discussed 2 approaches of versioning. One by directly coming to the AWS console, creating enabling bucketing for a bucket. Okay, and then uploading files from the window, AWS window, and observing the versions. And second approach is using the CLI. Okay, sorry. Second approach is using CLI and creating buckets and enabling versioning. Step 2, step 3, verifying versioning. Step 4, uploading files. Step 5, okay, verifying those versions. Step 6, listing all that objects and versions in the console. So this should give a clear idea. Understood, friends? So next after this is what do we do? The automation part, the most happening part. See, let me go to this. We did complete all that. Okay. So the next approach is suppose if you want to delete some specific version, you can delete that too, friends. Next, the last option is deletion. How do you do? You can just say that delete object. The command we can use for deleting a specific version. I'll just show you how to do this. Okay. So that you also have a overall idea of everything or of every step. Okay. You can come here. So now what is that you have to do? You have to just choose what is that 002 and just saying 002 is not sufficient. You have to mention version ID here, right? Here you have to come. Suppose there are multiple versions. I want to choose to delete some version here. Then how do I get it? Suppose you can take this version, copy this. Whichever version you want to delete, that you can choose. Here there is no harm in learning. Don't worry about this. Okay, just copy this, Control Enter, come here, and then here, if you see this is the command, you got it right, AWS, and then that S3 API command, and delete object and bucket information, and then that key instance text information, that file information, and version ID. Which one you want to delete in this? Just you can just remove this here, and then in place of this, place your version ID here. And the region, from which region your bucket is and your file is. Just enter. Now you can see that this particular version is deleted. Right? You can see. I'll just copy this and put it in the document so that it helps you while you do testing. Okay, that is fine. Now finally, what is that you do? Again, if you want to review changes, if you want to check if this version is really deleted, what you have to do? Just you have to use this command list object versions. This time you should see only 3 versions, not 4, because we deleted 1 version. Is that clear? How many we should see? We should see 3 versions, not 4. Let's see that. And let's check that. Okay, it deleted completely. Oh, I'm sorry. See here, you can see, right? I am checking on 001 bucket. We should see 3 versions. Enter, 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 enter. Okay. Now let's see this. You can count version 1. So 1, 2, and then, so it's still showing this. So this is deleted, right? We try to delete this. This should be gone by now. Okay, let me just again. No problem. We can check it out. On which file I did? Yeah, I think I applied on 002. And the version ID is this. Okay. Let me. Something is missing. We can go and ask ChatGPT once why it's missing. It should delete ideally. I have hit free planner. It's fine. This is not deleting the mentioned version. So what is the question now? Why? That is the prompt I need to use. It's already exists, right? Okay. And then permissions. Ensure that you have, okay. Maybe I don't have delete permission on that. And then we should apply that. Okay. So just let me check delete version, because the problem I think probably with the permission, delete permission. Let me check how to check if I have delete permission. Okay, I should go and check in AWS users. Okay. Okay. See, this is the permission issue, friends. We can check on it. I think we can fix it, not a problem. Why it's not deleted? Because it's a permission thing. So let me clear this. Let me go to, this is on buckets, right? So which user is trying to access it? That we should check here. Let me go and check on the buckets. We're directly playing around this. So, and then again, let's use IAM. Go and check IAM. I think I'm not coming through IAM. I'm directly coming through root account. Okay. So in that case, I don't think I can mention user here. Okay. Because who is coming here? Root. As we are using root. So I'm logging in as root, but not as user. Yeah, you can see that. Okay. Wrong version ID. Let me just do one thing. Let me take this. Sorry. Okay, let me try to list object versions of 2. And still it is there, right? So this is 8 or something. This is the one. Still version exists after deletion. Okay, so this is the reason. So probably what it is saying is I am trying to delete the latest version. So that's why it's not allowing me to delete that. But what it is saying here, the version you are trying to delete is the latest version of the object. After deletion in a version bucket, S3 does not actually remove the latest version immediately. Instead, it creates a delete marker. Okay, so that's what happening here. We do one thing. Let's take something old version. Okay, something we created something before. Let's test it now. So that makes more sense to us. Okay, here, this one. Let me remove this. Let me use before version and let me enter. Okay, now let's get the bucket versions. Now, how many we are seeing here? 1, 2. Yeah. Are you seeing the previous version now? We just see 3 versions, including the latest one. This is marked as delete. This latest version is marked as a delete marker, but maybe it will be removed later, or we'll check it that. I'll just check on that how it works. But now you can see that we did delete a version here, an old version. That old version got deleted, and in the output you can see only 3 versions this time. Earlier we have 4 versions, but now we are seeing 3 versions. Got it right? One version for this test.txt and 2 versions for sample report.txt. Hope you got clarity here. So what I did is, why it didn't delete is I tried to create the latest version. So this is the explanation for that. Why this file which I tried to delete is not immediately deleted. This makes more sense to us. Okay. So of course, deletion happens not on the current version immediately, but on the previous versions. Again, this is an useful info. Maybe we can keep this as an interview question as well. If you ask this kind of questions, definitely it is difficult to answer. All of you are clear with this, friends?
Yeah,
Clear?
one question like why
Yeah.
and when we do there is an inconsistency will create if we do like this.
Sorry, again,
Is
come
there
back
any
again.
no why we do this? Like why we need to delete any version file, previous version file, and is there inconsistency will happen if we do like this?
So first to answer your question, why we do this? Because this is only, I just want to show that this is how we can delete versioning. But generally, if you ask me, we generally didn't do any such thing here in our environments, Ravindra. Is that clear? So
Yeah, clear.
that is first to answer first question. Generally, we don't remove I mean the old versions. We keep everything there because every version is important in real time. So that is the one answer. Got it? Second answer.
Yes,
Uh, so to answer straight, we generally don't delete that existing versions so that we have everything there in place, and also it doesn't leads to any inconsistencies. when it doesn't lead to inconsistencies, Ravindra, if you are not deleting old versions, because sometimes you may need it. Understood?
Correct. Yes, sir.
So here, why I am doing this? Again, coming to next question. Okay, what is the next question? Why I am doing this version deleting? This is only just to make you understand, like the command, like how to delete versions if at all if needed. Only just giving a heads up or FYI for your information. We call it when you in work environment. So if you want to do some deletion, this is how you can do. But this is not something we do regularly. Understood? Did I answer
Yeah,
your question, Ravindra?
yeah, both questions. Yes, yes, both were answered. Thank you.
This is not something we need it, or this is not a regular practice or best practice for sure. But again, as we are in the learning of AWS, we are trying to understand each and every command. We are applying on that. Good that this, of course, I don't feel bad because it didn't work for me for the first time. And I feel more happy because we came across something new when we are doing a research on this. So definitely this gave more information rather than just understanding, okay, we apply this delete, we just share the version ID. Now there is a case where version ID may not be deleted when it is a current version. And that is something which we came to know right now. Okay. So that's the overall idea of this. What is it, friends? Delete this thing. Maybe I can also add this because again later this chat GPT might go away and I don't find this information again sometimes. That's the difficult part. Okay.
So,
So
Manohar, current version cannot be deleted, right? Latest version we can't delete, and previous version can be
you
deleted.
can see here after deletion in a version bucket S3, in a version bucket, S3 does not actually remove the latest version, latest in sense current version immediately. Instead, it creates a delete marker. Understood?
Yeah.
It will be removing later, but we should check. Okay, I'll check on that. Maybe tomorrow we can check again, recheck or revisit this topic, Harish. Okay.
Yeah, and real time, suppose if the same file we are loading it, so multiple versions gets created, right? So,
Hmm.
uh, how is the cleanup activities? Like a lot of files will get created daily. So in that,
So even though lot of files get created, not files, lot of versions gets
versions get,
created.
yeah.
Okay. Of course, each version is one file. That is also fine. So generally, always will be on the current version or latest version. We don't generally see the old versions. Harish, is that clear?
Yeah, for maintaining some like storage kind of thing, do we need to
Mhm.
do any cleanup activities like? Uh,
I didn't understand that question,
yeah,
Harish. Can you
because
please
more
repeat?
version files
For
gets
maintaining
created.
storage, what is
Uh,
that? I missed that word.
yeah, for versioning, if we gets created, right? So lot of storage point of view, like it occupies more storage, right? For every versioning. So is there any cleanup activities we need to do, or like earlier versions we need to delete after
See,
some?
for scripts like when you do development and all that, for that thing you don't need it. Even for storage, from this storage, this thing we don't need to worry about it. Suppose because it's a learning, we are creating it for as a playground. We are worrying about building, right? But in real time, there will be a budget for that, and there will be a time limit for that. Okay, and there will be a requirement for that, Harish. Even anyhow, you are in EY, right? You know all this.
Yeah, yeah, some. Yeah.
So see, there will be a clear cut instructions how many years your data should reside in that bucket and how many versions you need to be there. But definitely my this thing is you have to have all that. Okay.
Yeah.
And the cleanup wise, I don't think we are going to remove it, especially if these files something like this, they keep it at least for a period of time. You got it? Before maybe if you ask this question, even though you do cleanup, okay, assuming that maybe due to the constraint of space or due to the constraint of budget, everything, but there will be period, retention period, the technical word you can use, because this is what we do. We have a 7 years retention period we keep in the prod for some data, right? Before we delete that. You understand that,
Yeah.
Harish? And 1 year of active data. So that 1 year we keep in the main prod database, and then we move that data to the archive databases. You got it? And from archive databases, we remove after 7 years. That is how the retention periods are created. And to answer your question more from a real time, this thing, right?
Yeah.
We create policies there. So we don't just create data like that. This is whatever I'm sharing is going to help you a lot in interviews. Okay. So even though to answer your question, it creates constraint, it creates budget issues or space issues, all that. But before that, for everything, there will be a policy in place. Suppose I am creating versions, how many years this file should retain in that S3 bucket? There will be a policy. Understand? And after that, maybe you can do cleanup. Suppose you might put some 180 days, or you might put some 365 days. There will be a retention period. Till that, you don't do any cleanup. Is that clear?
Yes. Yeah.
So I shared you all the real time use cases, so you can understand and apply that to this also. Same thing can be applied here also. Understood?
Yeah.
Yeah, but of course, there are certain cases. One of my friend, he works in people tech. Okay, so there are places where just they, as the policies are strict policies are not in place, just they create buckets just like that. Okay, and then sometimes you may delete it and just leave it like that. Okay, so it all happens on the kind of I mean company you are working, and kind of environment you have there, and the kind of policies are in place. All this is going to impact, uh, Harish. Understood? I cannot just say like just answer like that. But finally, there will be a policy. How many years or months you should put that in the S3 bucket? That will be there in any company if it is a standard company. Understood?
Yeah.
That's it. Now, uh, do I answer your question, or still you are anything?
Yes.
Okay. So see this, all this cleanup deletion, just keep this in mind in real time. They then, just because I am into the, we are having 27 databases we manage. So, and there is a lot of things in place. And we have 12 dev teams we deal, and they keep loading data into lower lanes and prod. Okay. And how this data, how do we deal with data, and how do we retain data? How do we archive data? How do we delete all that? I'm very much familiar with that. So I'm trying to tell based on that experience. You got it?
Yes.
Right. Next, after that, what else, friends? We are done with this, all this here. That is a good question, though. You got it right. The deletion part is done, and the last scenario is for today is again approach 3. What is that approach 3? Approach 3 is again trying to implement all these steps like versioning and everything using this Python automation. So let's go step by step from the very beginning, starting from installation, enable versioning, uploading multiple versions, and listing them. What is the goal here we have here right now, friends? We'll create S3 bucket, enable versioning, upload multiple versions, and list them, all using Python plus Boto3. This is very important. Whatever questions you are asking, I have all that in mind with an automation. And I would like to build an automation for all that. Some Venkatesh asked me a question. What is that question? Can we have customized versioning? That is already there in my pipeline. Not just that, okay. So how to display versions, right? Directly in the, I think we can do all that. So there are multiple automations in my mind where I want to bring that and show it to you so that it helps you. So this is, so if you want to connect to AWS and play around with this S3 buckets, okay. So one module that is there in Python is Boto3. And if you put this in resume, definitely you have a lot of this thing into your resume, visibility in the resume, right? Just add it and see. Suppose automation using Boto3, AWS automation using Boto3, you just add couple of automations. I did this, I did that. Then you can see that the kind of importance your resume gets in Naukri or something. Okay, so let's get into the detailing now. It's very simple. The first step is always install that software or install that module. To do that, what you can do, you can go to the pipeline, right? Sorry, command prompt. You can see here, I think I opened it, luckily. I installed this Boto3 here, you can see here. Just copy that command. Let me post it in the chart. Okay, you can install it from the command prompt directly. Pip install Boto3. Then that installs Boto3, that module you can see here. And you can see that it is successfully created. To which version? It is added to some latest version, probably what, like, you can check on that. That's not a big issue. Suppose if it is this one, right? You can see that I just show you here in the documentation. So this is per command prompt. How to install Boto3 from command prompt. You can use pip command and install it. Next one. Suppose if it is PyCharm, you can see before when you open PyCharm, it's showing error with this module, right? When you put your cursor on that, it shows install module. Then you can just click on that install module. Automatically, it will install that module for you in PyCharm. Suppose if that is not there, if it is not coming, then how do you install a new module in PyCharm? It's very simple. You can choose this, go here, and then go to the settings. I'm also showing you how to install a new module in PyCharm. For any project, if you want to add any new module, what you can do, go to the file and go to the settings, project or PyCharm. You can add it directly to the PyCharm. And then you can see here, okay, you can just click on that AWS automation project, Python interpreter. And then you can see Boto3 is already installed in my machine. But still, if you want to do that, just click on button here, plus button. You got it, right? How to do that? And just close it. Let me show you again. If you want to add any library to your PyCharm, you can come to this settings and then choose Python interpreter. And then right now, this PyCharm is using 3.9 version. You can see that. If you want, you can change that. You can see, you can, from the drop down, if any other versions are available, you can choose. Or else you can say add an interpreter and then you can just click on local interpreter and then come here and there are different versions available. You can change versions in the PyCharm. Okay, this is fine. In one session, I'll give a bit more this thing on a tour of PyCharm so that it would be more useful to you. Okay, that's fine. So come here and then just say what is that Boto3. So you can choose something like array. Already it's installed, only just to show you. Whichever you want, you can choose that, enter that package name. It shows that here. Boto3 is already installed. I am not doing it. But for you, if you didn't install, you can choose that and click on install package. It installs and close it and come back. And you can start working with Boto3. Right? So that's all, friends. This is how, if you want to add what? If you want to add Boto3, install a module in your PyCharm. And similarly, if you want to install a module from command prompt using pip, these are two different ways, right? Somebody asked me a question, how do I do dependency resolution? Generally, we do that with pip, installing whatever the modular package we want into your local machine. Okay. Next. So what is the steps we have to follow here? You can see that. So to connect to this S3 bucket, we have in this Boto directly we have sequence of steps. Whatever we applied from CLI, if you see that, I'm just opening my notepad, okay, so that it's easy for you to understand. You can see that create bucket, put bucket, versioning, get bucket, versioning, okay, and then copy something like that. You have sequence of steps here, which is available in this module Boto3. What is that? To connect to that S3. But before this, one important note for you all. If you are using Boto3 and connecting to the S3, one important step you should do before using this automation, before implementing automation. What is that? Come here. Let me just show you that. So you should enable or configure AWS in your local machine. If you want to work with this Boto3 automation, configuring AWS, this thing is important. Okay, AWS CLI is important. Understood now? So you can see here. Okay, that is fine. Come here. So before you can see this step, I just mentioned clearly so that you don't miss anything. Before using Boto3, configure your AWS CLI so Boto3 can use those credentials. If you don't do that, it throws error as per these details. So important thing is setting up CLI, AWS CLI or configuring AWS CLI is very important before we go and run that steps using Boto3 or before we implement automation with Boto3. Okay, that's fine, right? So how to create this? This is already explained. We have a recording out there. No problem with that. So now what do you do? This is the script. And the first script, step one is this Boto3.client, and you choose that. This is default one, connecting to the S3 bucket. Region is optional. It chooses default region if you want. If you remove this, don't worry about it. It is there. Okay. So now if you don't mention region, it chooses default region. So this is the step one, connecting to S3 bucket. Step two, provide bucket name and region. Okay. If you are directly providing here, it chooses that itself. Okay. You don't need to again mention that here, but it's okay. Having declared explicitly as a variable is a good choice. It's a best practice. No need to worry about it. So step two, what is that? Define bucket and region. We created that. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 is already there. I tested it. I'll put 7, 8, 9. Okay. Now creating a bucket. Step 3. Once you define, see the steps are simple. Just create a client here, initialize a client, and then define bucket and then region as variables. And then what is that? Create a bucket. How do you create it? You can see here in this Boto3, we have this API. API instance built-in methods. We have direct method create bucket like how we have in the CLI. You can see here, right? Where is that? Create bucket. You can see it's using a same command here, same method, create bucket. Even code, it is using the same method, create. It's a method. Inside that, it takes two parameters. One is bucket name. If you want, you can directly initialize here, but we assign to a variable so that you don't need to hard code it every time. And second thing, you are also providing the configuration, that is location constraint that you have assigned to region, that is AP South 1, that you can pass it. Okay, so this is step 3, creating bucket with bucket name and bucket region. That is fine. Next step 4, enable versioning. Again, we have that to enable versioning in S3, right? You have this. What is that? Put bucket versioning, that is the method you should use, and bucket name and versioning config, that is you should say status enabled. That's all. And after that, what is that? So automatically that will enable bucket. That's fine. Next, you have to upload files. Just take some file, demo file. Sorry, guys, I just had something. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, yes, we can,
Yes, yes,
we
we
can.
can.
Yeah, I'll explain this why I just need to move outside after the completing this. Okay, you can see here. Just you provide this file name. This is uploading mechanism. In that S3, there is a method put bucket. Again, bucket name, that file name, and then body. This is, if you want, you can directly add it, or you can upload from your local machine. That we can test it again in tomorrow's session. But for now, you just have one version. So we'll come back with more scenarios. Okay. So you can see that step 5, how to upload multiple versions of a file. You can see we just choose same file. You can see that file name is demo.txt. You can put demo1 now. That should be okay. Our demo is fine because we are trying to upload into a different bucket now. They are creating a new bucket and uploading it. You got it right. So now you are trying to put the same file for 3 times with this method put bucket. Understood now? That bucket name, that key file, and just adding some text here. Like, for each file, you are just trying to add some different text. That will help you to create 3 different versions with 3 different information. Okay, 3 different data. Okay. Now after that, finally, that versioning is, uploading will complete. This will do the uploading, and finally, what you have to do, just run the program. It will automatically implement all these steps, execute all these steps, and these buckets will be uploaded to the bucket name which you specify, and that value will be put into there. Understood now? And finally, list object versions. You can see, right? This is how just apply that method object versions and just bucket name and response.
Here, my confusion is.
And finally,
Sorry.
somebody go on mute, please. If someone asking any question.
Yeah, this is Ravindra. I'm asking, like, which version will be the latest? Here you have mentioned 1, 2, 3, right? Which will become the latest version? The sequence
I think
you have.
your voice is not clear. Just a
No,
minute.
okay. Which version will be the latest version? Like 1, 2, 3, you have mentioned, right? The sequence.
The
Which
latest will be the one. Okay, it chooses this one. The latest file we uploaded will be the latest one.
Okay, there is no parallel processing the files.
No, it will go sequentially. You got it right there.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, just a minute, friends. I think I need to interrupt. Give me a few minutes. Okay, I'll be back. Yeah, let's continue, friends. Okay, so these are the steps we should follow. And version, definitely it will take this, Ravindra, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, here it doesn't use this. What is that? This goes sequential execution, Ravindra. Understood? So we
Yeah,
don't have parallel processing in place because we are not working on a distributed approach here. You got it?
yeah,
And
got it.
once that is
Are you
done,
sharing the screen? Are you sharing the screen?
oh, I'm
I
sorry.
think,
If I'm not sharing screen, I'm sorry. I missed it. Huh? Okay.
yeah, it is visible. Okay.
So, and finally, once upload is done, then we have to get the list of versions. You can see all that here. And this is for just only for displaying the JSON in a better pretty format. That's all. If you choose indent to, it means it just gives you proper indentation. That's all. Even if you don't use this, nothing happens. But just to get all that, we write all that response into a JSON, I mean into this variable, and that output is written in the form of a JSON format. You got it right. So that we assign to a variable, and then we try to read that JSON using this JSON, a method from JSON.dumps. Understood now? So these are the steps. Let me just summarize again the steps for automation. First, we have to initialize client, right? To read, to connect it to the S3 storage bucket. Okay. And for that, we use this Boto3. And then what is that? From that, and that object is assigned to S3 here. From on top of that, you are adding all these statements. So what is that? You are creating a bucket with that bucket name you mentioned here and that region. Okay. So when you say S3.bucket, this method creates a bucket with the name you specify and with the region you choose here. And these two variables you can modify. You can change them. You can change bucket name. You can change region name. It's up to you. Okay. And then after that, this is step 3 and step 4. Enabling versioning. Again, you have that method put bucket versioning. And we have bucket name and versioning configuration. Okay, provide bucket name and then that configuration information, status and enable. And step 5, you can upload multiple files by using a method put object from Boto3. Okay, this put object helps us to put multiple files. I mean, how many of files you want into a bucket. It's for uploading a file into a bucket from a Python program. Okay. And how many you want to, it's up to you because here we are testing versioning. We are trying to add that file and we are trying to put that into this bucket. Okay. But the method used for uploading files using this Boto3 is a put bucket. And it takes 3 parameters, bucket name and then that file name and then that body information. Understood, right? And finally, all these 3 will be uploaded successfully. And last one, list object versions. So once you upload all the files, we should see the versions, right? For that, we apply this method versions and then bucket name again. And it gives you, what is that? A JSON response. And that JSON response we can print and see with this dumps method. So these are the steps. Let me run it now. Okay. You can see that. Of course, this should throw an error now because I removed this thing. And you can see this is throwing an error. And calling create bucket, what is that? It is saying the AP South location constraint is incompatible. It is choosing some default, but we are setting it to the AP South one. So what you can do now, you can just say Control Z here. You can see. If you want to customize this region name, right? If you want to initialize region, right, for a bucket, you can do that while you are initializing the client itself. Now you can see while connecting to the region itself, I am also setting up this region so that this time if I run it again. So sorry, run it again. You can see right click, run S3 and so still any error? Let me just check. It should create actually. Ideally it should create. bucket succeeded and you already own it. Okay, because I didn't, this has been modified. That is already there. That's why it's throwing error. Okay, so now right click and run this again. And now you can see that all the creation, all that steps ran successfully. Now you can see that it created a bucket with bucket name this. Okay, and enabled versioning and then uploaded 3 versions of the file, and you can see all the versions here. So this is the version 1. And somebody asked me a question, right? You can check all the versions, how they are uploaded. Right? So you can see that here. So this is version 1. Okay, this is version 2, and this is version 3. All 3 different versions which we uploaded. Suppose if you want to go and check in AWS, go to the AWS, where is that dashboard? Okay, S3. Okay, now you can see that this, where is that? This is the one I created. Okay, and then expand this and then choose versions. You can see all the 3 versions created. Understood now? So this is the idea, friends. This is the idea of what is that versioning. So I hope this gave you a very detailed picture about versioning and all 3 different approaches and the beautiful questions you asked. I hope I answered your questions. Yes or no? So this is all about versioning. Yeah, and still it's not yet over. I'll come back with few more automations. Okay, so that tomorrow I give more information. Definitely, all these automations, whatever the discussions we do, is going to help you not just in work environment, even in interviews. Understood? That's it, friends. That's for today. If you have any Q&A questions, and if you have any questions, I'll answer.
One second.